Okay, you guys, so I don't know if I've been living under a rock lately, but there's this series called Atelier. It's a JRPG series, and people are going insane about it. JRPGs aren't necessarily my favorite, but I'm willing to give just about any game a go, especially ones with this much attention. So yeah, I don't know if you guys have happened to heard of it, but I certainly hadn't, and I wanted to play it. So I decided to play the first one in this series, so Atelier Ryza, and this one is heavily story focused, and a pretty good one at that, as I found it generally interesting, but more so for the second half of the game. There's also this insane alchemy system, some great character development, along with some turn-based combat. So here you play as Ryza, a young girl who lives on an island with her parents and yearns for adventure. She spends most of her time with her two friends planning adventures and dreaming of a better life. As Ryza, you travel to the mainland where you meet some merchants, and she just really connects with this alchemist, finding out she has sort of a knack for it, while her two friends also pick up on their own interests of fighting and reading books. So as you start to go on adventures and explore, you'll uncover some interesting information about your town history and how it's linked to these two mysterious travelers. Now, fair warning, the start of this game is slow. Like, really slow. You think I may be exaggerating, but I promise you I'm not. Starting off, before you come into your newfound alchemist hobbies, you'll essentially spend all of your time either going around town doing some odd duties or back in your room talking to your friends. As the game progresses, your room will kind of become your atelier as you begin making items with your new skills. During this time, you'll unlock side quests where you'll help people across the island who are looking for assistance, whether they need items, resources, or just for you to listen to their story. These side quests generally have quite a story to them as well. It's not just your typical, I need this item, go get it for me. These quests often have some information and some backstories to them, and are much deeper than your typical ones. So that was nice. Along with side quests, each character you'll unlock will have a set of objectives to meet, whether it's collecting ingredients, doing certain things in battle, or stuff pertaining to the main quest. So as you play, these kind of naturally happen, and doing so can give you some neat little rewards. So there are a few things here to keep you going. At the beginning, it's really just trying to set up the story and the characters, which I can appreciate. However, I did find it boring during this time until the game really kicked into gear. As you begin learning alchemy, you can start collecting resources from various places around town and on the mainland, and from the monsters that you'll battle. As you gain more skill, you'll be able to make tools, which will allow you to collect more resources. So you'll be able to swap between various tools such as hammers and scythes to cut down trees or grass and smash rocks. And if you can manage to make the tools for them, you can actually go fishing and even catch bugs as well. And all of this stuff that you collect will be needed to make items via your alchemy. So you'll slowly begin to learn how to make different items, how to upgrade them, and even how to make items to use in battle. And again, it's a slow process as the alchemy itself is quite a complicated part of the game, so it's kind of slowly introduced in segments. So for the alchemy, you have this sort of connected pattern for each recipe where you'll need to place certain ingredients into the nodes. And depending on what nodes you feel will give you certain traits or increase the quality of the item. There's just so much more to it, such as upgrading an item to a new item, getting items to a certain quality for quests, and more. Even now, I don't think I fully understand all the ins and outs. But in saying that, it's pretty easy to kind of just guess your way through this whole alchemy process if you don't feel the need to fully understand it. There's also an automated process that you can use eventually, where the game will just automatically put ingredients in to make the items for you. I think they assumed here that some people just would not mesh with this part of the game. And that's sort of how I saw my way through the game until I decided to actually look up a guide and really have it explained to me. And even then, I didn't really get it. So just at the point where you're finding the game a little bit too boring and probably ready to give up, bam, the game really opens up. And it gets interesting. Very interesting. I found this happened right around the time you kind of move yourself onto the mainland and out of your parents' home. The map updates, fast travel changes and becomes easier, and all of these sections of the map on the mainland open up for you to explore. And suddenly, I was really sucked in. And it only took a very short 8 hours for me to get there. So from this point, you'll learn all there is to know about alchemy, along with getting access to a couple of different machines that will make your life so much easier. You'll be able to craft and upgrade armor and weapons, which is so essential to your success in battle. You'll also be able to swap around your party members and really customize the way you want to battle. The combat here, I actually didn't mind it, but probably because your characters can basically fight by themselves if you let them go. And I found if I spammed special attacks, the battles were usually over pretty quickly. Although similar to the alchemy, it is not a straightforward process. You can swap between characters to control them, but if you aren't on a character when it's their turn to attack, they will just do so automatically. When you attack, you can choose to use an item, such as a bomb, use a special move, do a physical attack, or move position. Again, there is so much more to it, such as tactic levels where you use points from this to do special moves, but if you fill up the bar, you can level it up to make your physical attacks stronger, and some other stuff such as battle moves and much more. I don't think JRPGs can ever be simple now that I think about it. But yeah, as with most things in this game, the combat starts off rather simple, but as you progress, and more so towards the second half of the game, you'll unlock a lot of stuff that makes it more interesting to do. As the map starts to open up more and you can explore further beyond those first few areas of the mainland, the game gets so much better. There's way more places to explore, more interesting areas with ruins, lava, and temples. You'll find all these new resources as well, which is super exciting after being stuck in the same places with the same resources for so long. And this is also where the story really kicks off as well. You'll learn some pretty cool information, things will start to make sense, you'll learn some interesting history about your island, and there's definitely some drama that happens here too. And we all love drama. And with this comes some great character development. While the slow start of the game is a total killer, it really helps to set up some of the people here and makes you really like some of them and hate others. And because of this, the second half of the game is that much better as you learn why some people are the way they are, and as you team up or learn about things, it's just great. This game really makes you feel some feels. Now obviously the game is voiced in Japanese, but I didn't find this impacted the game for me at all. Subtitles are easy to read and you can skip through them depending on your reading pace, which is really nice. The game obviously looks gorgeous as well, and while I didn't quite like the character design so much, specifically I guess like kind of the female clothing choice, the game itself is beautiful. The towns are really detailed, filled with lots of people, and the mainland you explore has lots of different kind of styled areas from mountains, caves, forests, and everything in between. If I had to estimate, I'd say this game is probably 30% watching cutscenes because, oh boy, are there so many cutscenes here. Maybe 40% collecting resources and 30% battling. And of course there's everything else in between. But yes, very, very story focused here. As I said before, it did take me quite a while to really get into the game, but in the end, I really enjoyed it because of the storytelling, as it's just very, very good. And while definitely not usually my type of game, I ended up liking it way more than I thought I would towards the end. But it does take a really long time to get there. And it's not just your normal couple of hours to get into it, it's quite a few. 8 to be exact. But if you can stick with it, it is quite the story to experience. Just an example to show you how much I ended up liking the game in the end compared to the beginning. It ended up taking me about 2 weeks just to play the first half of the game, and then I finished the second half in just 2 days. So there you go. So I know there's a few other games in this series, but I don't think I will be playing them. If it's similar to this game, I don't feel the need to drag myself through several hours of gameplay for it to get good, and it probably especially dragged for me because JRPGs, again, just not my thing. But if you do enjoy them, then I'm sure you probably won't feel the same way. So if you are a JRPG fan, this game is probably going to be everything you've ever wanted and more. It's a beautiful game, it's got a great story and some really in-depth mechanisms, but if that doesn't sound like your cup of tea, then I would say just give this one a miss. Or maybe just check it out through a YouTube playthrough or something. I hope you found this video helpful. Please leave a like if you did, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!